6 pentagons, 5 different metal finishes, 1 goal. I'm turning these empty frames into magical artifacts, each one a unique piece of wearable magic. We are using ink and mica, crafting materials, and resin to explore the potential of the isosceles pentagon. Before the magic, there is the raw material. From silver to gunmetal, each bezel finish has a distinct character that demands its own unique design approach. Welcome to the Wizard's world, where we capture fire, elixir, space, texture, and a wizard's banner in resin. Let's get crafting. Before I touch any resin, I start on paper. I trace these bezels at a 1:1 scale because with jewelry this small, every millimeter affects the balance. Working at life size ensures my vision is never distorted by scaling. Next, I study the bezel finishes to decide on a concept for each, all gathered under the umbrella of fantastical magic. I sketch a skeletal design for every study, marking exactly where the embeds will sit before layering on a color palette suited to that specific metal. Designing for the pentagon geometry ensures the final creation feels intentional and unique, rather than a design simply squeezed into a frame. Magic requires a safe workspace with adequate ventilation and safety work gear. My first step is prepping our multicolored bezels. I like to reinforce my heat-resistant tape with a tiny piece of cardboard. It's a lifesaver for mobility, allowing me to shift each piece easily between the crafting and curing stages without any warping. Our alchemy kit also has other tools required to move, handle, and shape resin and materials. Our ingredients are prepped and recipes are ready. Let's begin the transformation. With just 2 ingredients, let's kickstart this pentagon series. Our first bezel study is also our most light-hearted piece. It's a casual spread of colorful glitter in clear epoxy, framed by the rosy glow of this light copper finished bezel. To start, I'm lining the edges with a thin layer of resin. This is a favorite hiding place for air pockets, and this small step significantly reduces the chances of bubbles forming along the bottom edge. I really hope this multicolored glitter works. To be honest, I find it quite difficult to design for this rosy copper finish. It isn't the easiest metal to pair with, but sometimes you just have to trust the sparkle and see if the alchemy happens. I'm packing crushed glitter tightly at the bottom and thinning it out towards the top to create a gradient in the clear epoxy pour. The resin is overflowing a bit, so I will scoop some of it away. Love the glitter gradient. The colors are working very nicely with this coppery finish. That density gradient keeps the piece looking dynamic and transparent, like a bubbling potion caught in the light. Our bezel is fully cured and ready for assembly. This is the Pixie's Elixir. We are aiming to capture the vast expanse of space in this bronze bezel, deep black dotted with distant celestial objects. With our black mica background brushed in, we seal it with a layer of UV resin, taking care of any edge bubbles before moving to the next step. I'll be incorporating these metallic caviar beads through several layers of UV resin. This layering is a crucial detail. It ensures that the beads aren't packed together on a single plane. Instead, they float at different heights, giving the piece a three-dimensional pop that you can't achieve in a single pour. Because the beads are multicolored and vary in size, you have to balance them visually so they look like distant planets and moons rather than a random spill, crafting a story within this tiny frame. The back is perfectly domed and the front is wonderfully tactile, telling a story of deep space. Our cosmic void pendant is now ready for assembly. Now for something different. I will start by tracing the bezel for a comparable outline because we are about to not use the bezel and create a no-mold, free-form pentagonal UV resin pendant. My stencil is ready for use. First, by using blue UV gel, I trace the pentagonal outline and embed a matching blue jump ring. This translucent color strip will give this pendant a glowy aura around its edge. I'm using my favorite holographic blue purplish hexagonal glitter to give it a stony filler to look like the glowing focus stone from the top of a wizard staff. Because UV resin shrinks, I'll use a heat gun to level out any bends and alternate the sides while layering UV resin till I reach the desired thickness. Finally, I sand the edges before a final dip in UV resin for that organic, smooth pebble finish. This pendant is glowy, glittery, and pebble smooth to the touch. Our visit stone is ready for assembly. A fiery color palette to capture the warmth of the fire under the wizard's cauldron. The finish on this bezel reminds me of the bottom of a cauldron, blackened and tempered by years of fire. My first step is to line the edges with a little bit of epoxy before the pour to reduce the chances of trapped air pockets along the bottom edge. The secret here is waiting until the resin is slightly viscous before you pour it, and then a little more before I swirl it. Otherwise, the colors just bleed together. It's a subtle, gentle fire and looks like it could be warm to the touch. Think Calcifer with his eyes closed. I love how the yellow pigment is catching the light here. The contrast between the colors and the black bezel is striking. The dome turned out perfectly. I have always preferred epoxy for my final finish. It takes more time, but I truly feel it provides a more consistent, glass-like clarity that you just can't rush. Our gold bezel is the Art Mage's banner with a wizardly color palette populated with various symbols. First step is brushing in the chrome pigment to create the background. I'm layering the compass, sun and moon between the thin layers of resin to create shadows and depth. This truly feels like a banner with a hidden motto, belonging to a high-ranking wizard. This pendant could have been made faster with UV resin. But I decided to take the scenic route anyway, and the glass-like finish is its own reward. The Wizard's banner is ready for assembly. While most of the steps in the crafting of this bezel follow our previous studies, I'm adding a touch of clear resin to the center here to create a sort of aura for the incoming star. Now the resin has reached the perfect state. It is soft enough to receive the embed but firm enough that it won't bounce back. It will hold the ripple perfectly as I press the star into the surface. Our pendant is complete and ready for assembly. For this series, I chose doming restraint. A teardrop calls for a bulbous heavy dome, but the Pentagon is different. It is a sharp, chiseled shape, and I wanted to honor that shard-like quality. My doming here was intentional, just enough to add depth, just enough to cradle the embeds, but never so much that we lose the crisp character of the stone. The North Star pendant is a crisp design, clear and unambiguous. The contrast of the dark grey-green ink against the silver is incredibly clean. You might notice how the star digs into the resin. I intentionally skipped the dome here to keep the tactile ripple effect. It's one of those strange, wonderful textures you can only achieve with resin. The clear layer creates a soft aura around the star from the front, while the back reveals the transparency of the dark sky swirling in around our guide. At a glance, the texture is fascinating, almost like a stone. But as you move closer, you see the multicolor sphere suspended within the casting, creating deep visual interest against the background. The bronze finish provides a modest frame, balancing the silver and gold caviar beads without overpowering them. The uneven background was a happy accident that only adds to its character. The layering truly paid off, with a perfectly domed back and a wonderfully textured front. This is easily one of my favorite pieces. I don't think this piece even needs a name. It is so clearly a fire. The yellow is swirling and energetic, giving way to a calm, deep red. I love how the flat red pigment contrasts with the shimmer of the yellow. It creates a beautiful balance. The perfect dome adds a layer of magnification to this simple yet dynamic design. It's a heartwarming pendant. It feels like it could keep your hands warm on a snowy night walk. This color combination is a hit. Even with so many colors in the mix, they harmonize beautifully with the copper frame, neither too bold nor too dull. It has just the right amount of effervescence, just like a vial of potion that has been freshly shaken. The light blue edge is subtle. It almost looks like the rim of a stone catching the glitter's glow. I am quite pleased with the uneven doming. It provides the organic smoothness of a pebble while still respecting the pentagon's sharp profile. The transparency is throwing light beautifully, giving the edges a radiant, glowing feel. I did wonder if I should have packed in more glitter to make it opaque and heavy, but for a pendant, this level of light play is far more compelling. I'm also glad I found this blue jump ring. It blends perfectly with the blue outline of this wizard stone. The sun, moon, and stars are well composed, and I have to say the final finish is flawless. Neither too flat nor too round, just perfect. The layering has created incredible depth, and the color gradient flows beautifully with the celestial compass in the background. The translucency is the real magic here. Seeing the silhouettes of the individual elements against the light makes this a truly enchanting piece. It isn't often that I manage to achieve exactly what I set out to do, but in this case, each pendant is brilliantly unique. They have developed their own character and have their own stories to tell. This is why during the final step of our alchemy, I chose accessories that match the soul of each piece. Whether they become keychains, charms, or pendants, the matching hardware is what finally makes them feel like a complete set. Now that you've seen the full collection from the Wizard Studio, I'd love to hear your thoughts. Which pendant resonated with you the most? Or is there a specific theme you'd like to see me explore next? Let's chat in the comments. You'll notice that the Elixir, the flame, and the blue stone are reversible, making them perfect for keychains that flip around. The others are true front-facing art pieces for necklaces. If you're wondering how to pair these, I have actually made a set of matching earrings for these designs. Check out the link in the description to see the process. While these pentagons are a highlight of the Wizard Studio, I have also designed thematic sets for other bezel shapes that dive into completely different aesthetics. There is plenty more to explore if you are curious. Thank you for joining me today. Happy crafting and have a wonderful day. And for those of you who stayed, here is the real magic of the studio. Yes, that is 1,000 tiny planets currently rolling under my workbench. But it did result in this caviar mix, which came in very useful today. I also ambitiously started a no bezel design, thinking I could simply craft my own frame with wire. I quickly realized two things. The pentagon's angles were far too sharp for the wire's thickness, and my wire wrapping skills at the time were, well, hilarious.